Welcome back, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, my next guest tonight is a professor of linguistics at Columbia University, a New York Times columnist, and a best-selling author. His latest book is called Pronoun Trouble, the story of us in 7 little words. Please welcome back to The Late Show, John McWhorter. All right. Nice to see you again.
Great to be here.
As you can tell from the audience's reaction, we love linguists here at The Late Show.
I'm feeling it.
I want to get into your book in just 1 second. Pronoun Trouble, the story of us in 7 little words. But first, let's talk about modern linguistics and other ways outside of the pronouns. What, anything you enjoy particularly about the way we humans speak to each other these days?
You mean nowadays?
Nowadays, yeah.
It's all those ways of saying yep that the kids are using. And so
yes.
Somebody will say, see, we say, well, yes, indeed, or something like that. But if you listen to people who are, under something, then nowadays it's, well, fire, or, well, somebody was saying to me the other day, well, period. She kept on saying.
Period.
There are all these things. There are all these little ways that you can agree with somebody in a hip way. Kind of
bingo.
Keeps things going. For example, I'll try bingo.
Righteous Jackson.
Or righteous Jackson.
23 skidoo.
I wouldn't use that.
Modern
That to
slang.
me is such fun to listen to all these different ways. It wasn't that way 50 years ago. You didn't just say yes indeed, but you did not say period, and you did not say fire. So I like that. I think that it's a lot of fun listening to all of this warmth. It's all of this warmth between the kids.
So let's get back to this fabulous book here now, Pronoun Trouble, the story of us in 7 little words. What is the trouble with pronouns, John McWhorter? And is this is this an ongoing problem or just a modern problem?
We've got some problems. And one of them is that we need a new non-binary pronoun, and you can't just make it up. You can't just come up with some word and say we're going to use vibble or something like that. It has to be.
I like z, zay, and zem.
A lot of people do, but it's never going to be most people because you can't introduce a new pronoun. So it has to be something that we already have.
Have we always had pronouns?
We have always had pronouns.
So like medieval English or like Old English, there was like a he and a she and that kind of stuff.
All of that, and there were more. Middle English was better, frankly. So for example, with you, it used to be thou was one you, and you was a bunch of yous, and there was a word that meant you too, and it was yeet. And so yeet, try this. And the object form, now I'm not going to drag you too far into the weeds, but yeet, the object form was ink. And so I'm going to chase ink down. That was just better.
And they got rid of yeet. Yeet got yeeted out of the language.
Yeet was, they yoed it out.
Wow.
And so now we don't have anything but just little you. It used to be thou, you, and yeet.
And in English, it's you and you, plural and
yeah,
and
now
singular.
all we have is you, which is abnormal. If you ever try to learn another language, you have to learn that there are two yous, but all we have is just you. So that's
well, I'm from the South. I have y'all. I say y'all all the time.
But you're not allowed. See, it's considered slang.
It's still
that's
slang,
the problem.
y'all?
It's never going to be in the Wall Street Journal, and that's wrong because...
Oh, no!
And that's... These are our tragedies.
There's not going to be one of those little stipple things of y'all right there. But you know what? You know what I like about the South? Tell me about this. There's. I can say, what are y'all thinking about this? And that means I'm talking to you on behalf of maybe you represent a group of people or your family or something like that. But I could say, are all y'all coming? And that means all you all, which means I actually mean I'm asking a question of all of you.
It's so subtle, and yet we just think of y'all at ding, 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 and that's not...
I don't think of it that way.
No.
I don't think of it that way. I think of Flannery O'Connor and
artists.
Artists.
And y'all is polite. If you're looking at somebody in a 7-Eleven and you say, y'all come back now, you don't mean that the person is two people. You're implying that maybe they're others so that you're not talking right in their face.
Your people.
You and
your people, please come back.
That's polite, like saying vous instead of tu in French. But we just consider it slang. And then there's all y'all, which is a real thing. And so English is trying to get richer, and we always just kind of smack it in the face or tickle it under the chin and say that's cute, but now get back to the way you write in the New Yorker. It's not fair.
So do you think that the singular use of they is with us to stay?
You know, Stephen, when I wrote this in 2023, I thought, it's called Pronoun Trouble. I thought that it was going to stay. I thought it was a permanent aspect of the language. Now, in 2025, I'm not sure. It may end up having been a temporary thing. It may stick. I hope it sticks because I think it's very convenient for people who don't want to be shoved into the he and she categories. But it can be a little confusing. And I've been trying to hawk a proposal lately that when you use it in print and you're trying not to use he or she, maybe there should be a capital T, because that way you don't get confused trying to figure out what kind of they is meant. So if it sticks, I'm going to keep pushing that. We'll see.
But if there's a capital T in they, it'll sound like the sort of the capital that you give to, you know, he, meaning the Lord. And so they will sound like the Holy Trinity to me if I see it in capitals.
I would never have thought of that.
You cover all 7 pronouns in your book. What are they again? What are the 7?
Well, it's going to be I, you, he, she, it, we, they.
Okay. So you write, I is the focus of English's fakest rule. What's the fakest rule in the
Oh, it's got to go, but we're just stuck with it. You're supposed to say, Billy and I went to the store. And not Billy and me, which we all want to say, and any child says, not Billy and me went to the store, because you wouldn't say me went to the store, would you? And no, you wouldn't say that.
John
but
McWhorter.
It's not the way the language works. All languages don't divide their pronouns up into subjects and objects that way. Latin did, and God bless Latin, but English has never been Latin, and the idea that we have to be like Latin is something some people made up in the middle of the 1700s. They're writing by candlelight and dying of yellow fever and making up these rules because they loved Latin. And we're stuck with this. And so, people say—
You're really hostile to these people.
Oh, I would have, they needed to go. And the thing is, if you knock on someone's door and they say, who's there? And you say, it is I. Well, they're not going to let you in. And that's because you sound like an idiot. But that's a subject,
They're
isn't
not
it?
going to let you in?
They shouldn't.
'Tis I.
No. Lock the door. You have to say, it's me. And nevertheless, we've got that same subject-object issue. And, you know, we're stuck with it. It's like you have to use deodorant. You have to say, Billy and I went to the store in public. But we should know
Or do you want to come with Billy and me?
Come with Billy and me is okay because it's after a preposition. But to be honest, if we're going to have a rule that already doesn't make sense, which is that you can't say Billy and me went to school, I think that we could say, you know, between you and I, or come with Billy and I, because we have rules that are unlearnable anyway. So I'm for freedom.
John, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you, Stephen.
Pronoun Trouble is available now. John McWhorter, everybody. We'll be right back.